All right, Jason here from newtonswave.com, and in this live broadcast today, just going to have a quick talk to you about BNB because it's been in the crypto chat rooms, the crypto community. It's been mentioned in all the kind of financial kind of social websites and newspapers, stuff like that, that it's crashing, it's burning, and it's on its way down. Well, the reason I've made this particular video today, this live broadcast, is to show you that it's some really good news on the horizon, right? BNB is about to finish its bear phase, right? And so it's going to turn and head back up again. So before I get into this live broadcast, just want to mention a couple of things, right? Many people who trade think that the price movement up or down is purely based on fundamentals. What do I mean by fundamentals? Well, that price movement is affected by, say, news, right? News flashes, news headlines, stuff like that. So let's say, for example, in the news, it says that Elon Musk is going to buy 20 trillion SHIB, then the price is suddenly going to rocket up. It doesn't work that way, right? Now, this is very, very interesting. I've been trading for a few years now, and I used to follow the fundamentals heartily. What's going to pop? There's been some new oil fields discovered in Alaska, and this oil company is going to go up, and dum-de-dum-de-dum. But I soon found out, right, it took me about 6 to 7 months doing a lot of research, that fundamentals, right, can be very, very misleading, and there's a lot of manipulation behind them. But the biggest thing I discovered was fundamentals does not affect price movement whatsoever. Behind the scenes, right, of the candlestick price pattern, there is something called an electromagnetic wave. So let me just break this down really quickly, right? In our ether in the universe, you've got sound waves, you've got gamma rays, you've got light waves, you've got gravity waves, right? And information signals travel down these waves, and there's a cause and effect. So like me speaking to you now travels down sound waves, right? If I speak high, it goes up. If I speak low, it goes down. Scientists discovered that, as you can see on the screen here, right, that if I just turn the candlestick pattern off, there's actually a signal, right, and a pulse of the signal that affects and determines and dictates the candlestick price pattern. And the price pattern basically follows the contours of an electromagnetic sine wave. That's it in a nutshell. So it took me a long time to work that out, that there is actually a science behind trading. It's not random, and it's certainly not based on current events. See, when the pattern goes down and the price goes down, everyone jumps on the bandwagon trying to give some explanation for that, and vice versa. Okay, so coming back to BNB now, right? So what's all this got to do with BNB? Well, as you can see on the screen here, right, we've got this pattern here, right there. This is called Newton's wave, right? That's the electronics sine wave. And Newton's wave has peaks, right? So the sine waves have peaks. And these peaks can be divisible by 2 or can be divisible by 3. So on this particular time frame, on the month time frame, you can see that the sine wave here, right, is doing a natural progression. It's peaked, it's come down, it's pittering, it's trailing out, and it's going to basically take an upturn again. It's almost like a staircase, right? Steps go up, they flatten down, then they go up again, then they flatten down. It has to do that because it has to cock and reload before it can go up to the next level. And if you think about it, if there was no ceiling, right, or support, then if things went up, they just go up forever and ever and ever, right? Or down forever and ever and ever, right? But there's boundaries, right? Perimeters in place in nature. So things hit a ceiling, they come back down, they can regroup, they can reload, and then they can go up again. And that's how it works, right? And so BNB over the course of the last year has basically done peak 1, it's done peak 2, done peak 3, done peak 4, done peak 5, done peak 6. So we're almost done. Now, Elliott's wave tried to work out how price pattern works, right? He said it goes up with so many peaks and comes down on so many peaks, but then he explained about, and just on that subject, Elliot's wave is about 2/3 inaccurate because it was only based on the price candlestick pattern. But now scientists have discovered the real reason for price movement. You can now you can exit and enter your trades with a lot more precision because you've got the source of the price movement. Now, Elliot's wave discovered that there was something called a horseshoe or a bear truncation, where the price comes to here, then peaks, and then it drops down even further. So the peak you're looking at here, peak 7, is what Elliott wave described as a bear truncation. So in this trade here, this is how I set all my trades up. I go on the macro view, I get Newton's wave up. It's basically like a price prediction indicator, I suppose, and I count the peaks. So we've done peak 6, which is good. It's these dots here represent now the projected a course that Newton's wave is going to take for the next peak. So it's going to reach the top of peak 7, then it's going to come down, and that will be your entry point right at the bottom of peak 7. That's where I'm going to enter. And so if you're a bag holder, that's where it's actually going to turn for the positive and start a bull phase up. It's going to go up about 700%. This green line represents the next stop, so it's going to fall. So when the bounce happens and the bear truncation, it's going to roughly, I reckon, bounce off about $200. Then it's just going to make its way up to about $1,000 or $1,100. So that's about 800% rise, which is incredible. Word of caution: when you're trading, never use the date and time as your entry and exit points. Why? Because in science, right, everything is a constant. Let me explain what I mean. So with sine waves, you get a peak, you get a dip, and you get another peak. Now the distance between the two peaks is always a constant. It's not a variable. It never changes. But the time that it can take to travel from this peak to that peak can change, right, when you're trading, because it's a variable because of the human element. So let me tell you what I mean, right? So let's pretend you were traveling between two mountain ranges. You didn't have, you had lots of food, you had lots of stamina, you were young, so they'd work out the distance it took for you to come down and go up the other peak. Now let's say they loaded you up with a big kit bag, put 100 kilos on your back, didn't feed you, right? You were starving, you were thirsty. The journey would take you a lot longer because the variables have changed, or you might even die and never reach your destination. It's the same in trading. Between the two peaks, the human variables are things like dilution, which waters the timeline down. It's like a piece of string that's lengthened, it becomes slack, and you have to take up the slack before you can carry on again. And so that's why I never use days or times or dates to work out entry points. I just count the peaks on Newton's wave because they're always correct, right? So when it's always does its 6th and 7th peak and then bottoms out, that's where I enter the trade. So really good news for BNB holders. And as I said, if you're a bag holder, you can wipe the sweat off your brow because it's about to turn very soon. And also, if you're looking for an entry point, you're looking when to invest in this, as I said, the bottom of peak 7 in Newton's wave is where I would come into this trade. Listen, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video today. My name's Jason, as I said, from newtonswave.com, and I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you very much for watching.